Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with a remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students.
A very warm welcome to all the students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Children, we are back with part 2 of this video. Subject EVS-I, Standard 5th, Lesson number 4, Topic Environmental Balance. Let's have a quick recap of what we studied in the previous class. We studied the biodiversity of the places, special devices used by the scientists for observation, living and non-living things. Animals depend on plants for shelter, oxygen and food. Herbivore, carnivore and omnivore animals. In the last class, we saw how animals depend on plants. But do plants depend on animals? Yes, plants do depend on animals. Plants use the carbon dioxide that animals breathe out to make food. Plants depend on animals to produce seeds. Many kinds of flowering plants depend on insects like bees, moths, butterflies to produce fruits with healthy seeds. Plants depend on animals to disperse seeds. When animals take fruits or seeds as food, they act as willing transporters of the plant's seed. Some fruits have structures like hooks that get stuck to their fur or feathers. While moving from one place to another, seeds also spread through their droppings. Plants also depend on animals for adding nutrients in the soil. Animal wastes as well as their dead bodies provide nutrients to the soil. Now, let's learn about food chain. Living things depend upon each other for food and feeding. The interdependence among themselves for food is called a food chain. Look at the first picture. Here we have a grasshopper who eats grass or leaves of the plants. Who eats the grasshopper? A bird eats the grasshopper. Who eats the bird? A snake eats the bird. Who eats the snake? An owl eats the snake. So here we can see a food chain is formed. In the second picture, we have a rat who eats the grains or seeds of the plants. Who eats the rat? An owl eats the rat. In the third picture, a rabbit eats carrot. A fox eats the rabbit and a lion eats the fox. In the last picture, we can see a grasshopper eats grass. A frog eats the grasshopper. A snake eats the frog. And who eats the snake? An eagle eats the snake. Thus we can see in nature there are different types of chain. If any one connection is lost in a food chain, then that food chain comes to an end. Oh, look at this picture. There is an interlink of various food chains formed here. It looks like a spider's web. Yes, this is a food web. A food web is the natural interconnection of food chains and a graphical representation of what eats what in an ecological community. Ecological community means a group of two or more different species of animals found in the same area. In this picture, we can see rabbits, squirrels, mice and seed-eating birds. They all feed on plants, but they are the food of more than one animal. Like rabbits, squirrels, mice, they are the food of foxes, hawks and owls. Mice and the seed-eating birds are also the food of snakes. Plants are eaten by insects. Insects are eaten by birds, birds are eaten by other animals, and other animals are eaten by another animals. In this way, the cycle goes on continuously in the nature. Let's study the food web shown in this picture. Insects eat the grass. Lizard and frog eat the insects. A snake eats rat, lizard and frog. Who eats the snake? An eagle eats the snake. Thus, food webs show how plants and animals are connected in many ways to help them all survive. In the last slide, we saw many animals eat plants. Other animals eat animals that live on plants. Thus, plants form the main support for any food chain. But from where do plants get their food? Plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide from the air, water and minerals from the soil. This process of preparing food in plants is called photosynthesis. In return, they give us oxygen that is used for breathing by all living things. Now let us learn about the important cycles in the environment and how these cycles help to maintain the environmental balance in nature. The first picture shows the carbon dioxide cycle. We can see here plants give us oxygen, which is used for breathing by all the living things. Living things give out carbon dioxide gas. Plants use the carbon dioxide gas for making their food with the process called photosynthesis. Oxygen is given out in this process and gets added to the air again. Next, we have the water cycle. Because of this water cycle, all living things in the environment get water. Next, we have decomposition cycle. Microorganisms living in the soil help in decomposition of plants, residue, dead animals, excreta, etc. All these things mix with the soil and is used by plants for their growth. When plants and animals die, they decompose and make the soil rich again. This is an important cycle. When these different cycles go on uninterrupted, environmental balance is maintained, which is very important for the existence of living things. Let's summarize what we have learned today. We learned food chain and food web, types of cycle in nature, process of photosynthesis. Plants depend on animals for carbon dioxide, to produce seeds, to disperse seeds, and for nutrients in soil. We will be meeting soon in the next video, so keep learning something new every day. Thank you.